What's up everyone, Milkman here, back again for another video game review, and before we get into it, let's adjust the elephant in the room. With my review of Stray, the delivery was very robotic and sounded very horrible. That was mainly because I was reading off a full script, word for word, which is typically not something I normally do. Figured I'd try something different, and this time I'm looking to fix that, but I got more bullet points here, not necessarily a script, and I'm kind of going to be freeballing this more or less. So let's hope this sounds a little more natural. But today I'll be reviewing Sifu. All footage is captured on PS5 while I was streaming, hence my ugly mug in the corner. So Sifu was released in February 2022, developed by Slow Clap Studios, makers of Absolver, which I haven't played, but I looked at some footage of it. Seems like it's a very similar type thing, at least in terms of gameplay. The story of the game is that you play as either the son or daughter, who's never given a name, you're just kind of the main character. So the son or daughter of a martial arts master and a guy who ran a dojo. He gets killed by one of his former students and his little gang, and you have to... The bulk of the game is you seeking out these people and seeking revenge, killing them and all their henchmen, and eventually Yang, the main antagonist. So the main thing with this game, it's like main selling point, is that the age mechanic. Whereas every time you die, you have like these special charms that revive you, but they age you at least 1 year. Depending on a set of circumstances, you get aged more than a year. And every time you die, you get up a year, up until you reach the age of 70. Whereas once you reach 70, or maybe a couple years above that, like if you died at 69 and you age 5 years from that death and you're 74, then you can play as 74. But next time you die, once you're 70 plus, that's it, you're done for. You gotta restart once you die over the age of 70. You start the game at 20, and every 10 years after that, so 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70, you lose some health, you get a little weaker, but you also hit a little harder. So that's kind of the main thing with this game, is you gotta get through the game being as young as you can. I got some likes I'd like to talk about. First and foremost being the music in this game. I thought the music was pretty top-notch, especially in the opening level. It's like slums or something like that, some kind of neighborhood. Especially the combat music of that level in particular really stuck out to me. All throughout the game, whether you're in combat or you're just maneuvering through the level, there will be a different set of music for you to listen to. But the music in particular stuck out, especially in the slums, like I said, and also in like your house area. That's kind of like the hub world between levels. Those two places, the music really stuck out, but it's great all through the game, and I really noticed that you could tell they put a lot of time and effort into that, which they should, because there's not a lot of dialogue in the game, so music is a key part. They do a very good job of making you feel like a badass. Not a lot of games I've played recently, the first two that spring to mind besides Sifu are God of War 2018 and Doom Eternal. Do a really good job of this, but they really make you feel like you're a badass in this world fighting off all these people. You know, the whole point of games, especially story games like this, are to live in someone else's shoes for a little bit. So to feel like you're actually that kind of badass person kicking ass felt really good. This game especially, the combat's so fluid. You can parry people, hit them a bunch of times while they're stunned. You can like throw stuff behind you, which is like you wouldn't be able to tell someone's behind you normally, but like just throw stuff behind you before someone's about to hit you, then beat the shit out of them. That felt really good to do, and it really does a good job making you feel like you're a real kung fu master. Art style in this game is pretty unique. I believe cell shading's the term used to describe it. Not a huge amount of cell shaded games I've seen. Absolve, Slow Clap's other game that they made, looks pretty similar to this cell shading. And I think Legend of Zelda Wind Waker did cell shading as well, and I think that's probably the best looking game I've ever seen. I think it's super gorgeous with all the vibrant colors, cartoonish art style. Looks really amazing. So art style, big check mark for me. Like I said, the combat's very fluid and fun, but then again, it better be, because that's the bulk of the game, is you just kicking ass. But you could tell they put a lot of time, effort into the combat, and it pays off dividends in the final product, because it really does feel like you're out there kicking ass. And one thing I like that I think oftentimes doesn't get enough credit is the range of difficulties this game offers. So it starts off with 3 initial difficulties, easy, medium, and hard, which that's cool and all, but beyond that, once you go into the modifiers, as the game calls them, you can unlock those by completing goals throughout the game and making things either easy or harder for you. The cheats make it a little easier. It says, for instance, you can purchase like invincibility, or all your skills are unlock from the get-go. That obviously makes it easier for you, but once you reach... There's also things called, I think, modifiers, the game calls them. Make things harder, whereas enemies hit twice as hard. They move twice as fast. You are one hit away from death, but so is the enemy. Things like that. So on top of those initial difficulty selections, things like that are really cool to see. If someone doesn't have a lot of time to play games, and they have like a half hour here and there, I'm sure they don't really want to spend a lot of time digging into the mechanics and mastering each and everything. So they would rather just play the game, get the gist of it, and move on to the next one, because they don't have a lot of time to play games. But on the flip side of the coin, for other people where it's like they want to spend a lot of time mastering things, they want things to be as hard as can be, this game offers selections for both extreme sides of the scale as well as in the middle, which is usually where I fall, so I really like that. So this isn't really a complaint, more of an observation. The story is incredibly basic. You play as a kid, your dad gets murdered, you seek vengeance. Nothing wrong with that, but there's also nothing stand out about it, hence why it's not a like or dislike, just an observation. Dislikes are going to be, I got two I'd like to discuss, one of which being the camera. The camera is definitely passable most of the time, but when you get stuck against a wall and or a corner, if you don't really, you can spin it around pretty easy, so it's not that big of a deal, but there are times where it's like 6 or 7 people coming at you. You don't got time to flip that camera around when they're all throwing punches at you. You're trying to block and dodge every single one, and when that situation happens and the camera kind of freaks out like that, you kind of have to guess on when they're attacking and when to try and parry or dodge. So camera could use some slight improvement, but I frequently found myself, I wouldn't even say frequently, but definitely noticeable amount, found myself frustrated with the camera doing this, and it cost me a couple of times my life and a few years, and even at times had restarted a level because I felt I was getting too old to move on. And another dislike personally would be the price. This is a $40 game, which nothing against $40 games, but this one in particular, it's a little steep, I feel like, even more so than Stray. Stray was 30 bucks. I feel like you're getting a little more value for your money with Stray than you are with Sifu, but it's just, this game, the slow clap banks on you playing this more than once. If you're really on top of your shit and you're really kicking ass, you can get through the story of this game in under an hour, no question. But for someone like me who rarely picks up games more than once, like I typically just play through them and I call it quits. More on that later though. But this, like I said, they're really banking on you playing through this game more than once. And for $40, I really have a hard time justifying that price tag. I even played through this twice, and I still can't justify $40 for this. So if you're someone who typically plays games once and puts them down, never touches them again, I'm not saying don't buy this game. I'm saying maybe wait for it was on sale. If you don't play through games more than once or twice, really, maybe wait till this game's on sale. You'll definitely have a good time with it then. But if you're someone who really gets down to the nitty-gritty, is a completionist, does everything they can, unlocks everything, and then they want to get through the game perfectly, this might not be too bad of an investment, but even still, it's 40 bucks. I have a hard time thinking about that. But if you really got to play through this game a few times to get $40, to even think about getting $40 worth of use out of it. But all in all, I really like this game more than I was expecting, like I said, and I rarely replay games, but even this one off stream, I picked up again and played through. Little challenge myself to only die during boss fights, which I did, and it was really hard, but that goes to show you just how addicting this game can be with the combat and how well worked out they had it. And I just couldn't get enough of it. I had to get more fix beyond just one playthrough. But all in all, I give this game a solid 8 out of 10. Really enjoyable, had a lot of fun. Like I said, if you aren't someone who plays through games a decent amount, definitely wait till it's on sale. But if you love replaying games time and time again, mastering things, definitely don't be afraid to pick this thing up. But those are my thoughts. Tell me what you thought about this game in the comments. Let's talk about it. I love to hear your thoughts on games because everyone's got an opinion on this type of stuff, and I love to have educated discussions on it. So whether you hated this game, you loved it, or anywhere in between, let's talk about it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, don't forget to fart on that subscribe button and French kiss that bell for post notifications. I'll be coming out with a roller drone video as well. That's a lot more recent game I've been hearing a lot about. Figured I'd give it a try, stream it. But I got that coming out pretty quick here, probably in the next week or two. So definitely hit that post notification button so you know when that gets posted. And don't forget as well, I stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can check me out using the link in the description of this video to my Twitch channel. and then click the About section of my Twitch channel for all the other links you might need. Thank you guys for watching this. I appreciate you, and I will see you over on Twitch while I'm streaming. Bye now.